Code Conspiracy from 2002, even though the copyright says 2000. A guy gets a disk containing a new kind of encryption based on the Bible code. It can't be cracked, and somehow it ties into the future, and Lou Rawls is there? Theme song.
Code Reviews! Code Reviews!
If you want to watch Code Conspiracy, well, good luck finding it, because it's one of the films on my 4 sci-fi pack, and I couldn't find this anywhere online, legally or not, to watch. So, the credits say it's by the Asylum, which I normally stay away from, but because it was on my pack, I decided I'd watch it. But it seems like it was only distributed by them and not made it by them. It doesn't even appear on their website. I mean, it has been more than 20 years, but still. So, here's the description from IMDb. What if a computer disk had a code so powerful it could change the world forever? Okay, so far so good. While translating the Dead Sea Scrolls, a professor discovers a hidden formula that not only unlocks all known computer encryption, so far so good, but also scientifically proves the existence of God. It doesn't really do that. Religions, governments, and mankind itself could rise and fall based on this information. Now, the faith of one man is the only thing standing in the way of unscrupulous government agents and deadly corporate mercenaries who will stop at nothing to get the disk. Okay, so I don't know that it has anything to do with faith. So the movie, like that description, tries to make it seem like it's a religious movie, but it's not. It's really, most of it is about this computer code that is based on this idea, the Bible code, a code in the Torah. And kind of, I'm familiar with this from the Omega Code movie, which came out a year before this. So, in reality, this movie is a vanity project and it's a mess. And sometimes it's so bad it's good, but other times it's so bad it's just boring. So the film starts off with this text scrawl that says the government's passed a law saying that they have to have a backdoor to any encryption. Now, that's not as crazy as it's crazy, because in the 90s, the government did try to make this Clipper chip, which did give them a backdoor to encryption, voice, and data, but it wasn't mandatory, and basically nobody used it, and it was dead by 96. But so the movie's really about this encryption. They sort of have some babbling gobbledygook about quantum theory and said there's a code which proves there's God. I'm like, that's a big leap, dude. So the signs this is going to be a journey starts right away. The first thing we see is a guy driving a horse-drawn carriage with a couple people in the back, and they're driving around the cemetery. The driver is Lou Rawls, and he's talking about good and evil. This is the only scene he appears in. We never see the people in the carriage. So I can only assume that the film producer knew Rawls and got him to shoot some footage one afternoon. I mean, I can't blame him, because it's better to have Lou Rawls and not need him than need Lou Rawls and not have him. But it is a weird way to start your movie. So then we get a professor doing some rambling, like I said, about quantum physics and codes and God, and makes no sense.
Evolution requires that we believe in time. But what if time isn't real? Albert Einstein asked that question. The theory of relativity obliterates our human notion of time. Now, scientists in Israel claim that all of human history was coded into the Torah before human history even began.
Then he gets fired. Then we jump a few years later. He's got a long beard, he's all, and stuff, and he's on the run. And he hides the CDR and gets a message to his student. The student is now former student. He's a tech startup guy. He gets the CD, and it turns out it's this encryption based on the Bible code that's impossible for the government to crack. And there's a couple things going on here. One, they talk to him and a couple of his partners. They're talking about they want this new code.
Keyless encryption technology, guys. Cutting edge math. Absolute encryption. It is possible.
This is where it gets weird.
The passkey is within. Inherent, known. The government would have to know and store everything about a person.
Basically, they're talking about biometrics, but they're throwing in DNA and stuff, and it's encoded into our DNA. And then the video on the CD from the professor is like, he's been in Israel, and the Israeli government has this Bible code, and they can predict the future.
We found the dates that Saddam Hussein would attack Israel weeks before the actual attack.
And somehow this code is tied into DNA, and that makes it uncrackable. I don't know. And he says, and your name is in it.
I found your name.
So not only is the Bible, the Torah, just the beginning of it, showing the Jewish part, that the history, the holy book, it also has a secret code encrypted into it. And that code is so dense, it's so compact, that it can predict the future down to having individual people's names in it. That is a pretty awesome encryption. But anyway, the rest of the film is the guy on the run. He's on the run from the Israeli government. He's also on the run from the US government. And basically he goes from place to place, from friend to friend, mooching off of them. It's basically, you can interpret it as the government's out to stifle innovation, and they want their fair share. And then in the end, there's this weird scene that I had to watch twice, because I'm like, are they implying that this was some act of God, or are they implying that he pulled a switcheroo? The directing and editing so bad you can't tell. And the directing and editing is bad. So, for example, we have a scene like this.
Crack open my chest. Some guy with a rubber glove holding my heart in his hand. That stuff changes your outlook.
For no reason at all, they just focus on some ducks swimming. And another scene, Maria Conchita Alonso is a businesswoman and who's interested in buying the company. And we get this great camera work when we first see her, where they zoom in on her chest, but like she's not really wearing any revealing clothing. And later on, she propositions the main character.
You want to get into the hot tub?
I don't have a suit.
Neither do I.
And then it just cuts to a scene of the main character and his wife. The wife is freaking out because something happened. The bad guys were trying to break into the house or something. Who knows? No follow-up on that. Did he sleep with Maria Conchita Alonso's character? Don't know. Doesn't know. Later on, the end, Alonso's character shows up again and kind of apologizes. Oh, I didn't mean to try to break up your marriage.
Well, after you left, I felt very stupid. I mean, it was clumsy, the whole thing, I just want you to know I'm not in the habit of breaking things. Marriages.
But it's still not clear, did she actually sleep together? And then also spoilers, his wife gets killed. So we hear it on the news. Tech CEO, his family is assumed to be dead. So it's on the news, it's broadcast. But then he goes to at least two of his friends that none of them have any idea. One of them is even like, you're still married, aren't you?
You're looking a little rough, though. Sarah kick you out or what? I like what you got. Big house, wife, kids. You still have a wife and kids, don't you?
So none of his friends listen to the news? And then when it comes to the news, there's this weird scene. Like, is it supposed to be a shadowy
was a terrible accident. 6 charred bodies. 2 children. But we know why.
Accident investigators suspect fuel pump and faulty wiring caused the explosion aboard a private jet shortly after taking off this morning.
Part number 1.
A low-altitude engine failure is one possible cause of the crash that killed software millionaire John Davis and his family.
A low-altitude engine failure is one possible
Few
cause.
details are emerging as to the cause of the crash.
Part number 2.
Government officials are reporting that a mechanical failure led to the
The fatal crash that killed 6 people, including 2 children.
We believe, and our experts will confirm, that this is what caused the accident. Such an unfortunate loss of life.
So, why is this film so crazy? Well, it's a vanity project. The writer, director, and executive producer is a guy named Hank Whetstone, and surprisingly, this is his only IMDb credit. It's also credited to Janice and Virginia Whetstone. I don't know which is which. One's his wife, one's his sister. And I looked him up, and he owns a business in St. Augustine, Florida, where most of the movie was filmed. And his sister owns a candy shop that was started by their parents. I also found this letter to the editor of the St. Augustine newspaper where he is writing. Apparently, there's been some negative coverage accusing him of some, tying up construction or something. And he's like, "It ain't me, it's my sister." Either Janice or Virginia. So it's like nothing to do with me. It's all about her. I don't even talk to her anymore. So I'm guessing they had a falling out after making this movie. Also of note is the movie, even though its rating on IMDb is only like 5.1, there are a ton of 5-star reviews that all talk about how it's faith and intelligence when it's not. But they were all posted in the first few months of 2005. And I looked at all those people, they never reviewed any other movie. It's weird. So is Code Conspiracy so bad it's good? Like I said, sometimes it is, but sometimes it's just bad. And it gets repetitive as he goes from friend to friend. So I'm going to give Code Conspiracy 1 thumb up. If you like nonsense and random shots of some duck, then you'll love this film. I would love it if you liked and subscribed.